first time we met was at my birthday party at a strip club. And yeah, she said, I have a leash and chain in my locker. Do you want to walk me? I'm like, yeah, sure. Like, fuck yeah. So she brings out her leash, and I end up walking her around the strip club.
Are people just throwing money at you guys?
Throwing ones, just taking photos, videos, like, what the fuck is going on?
And had you ever thought of this before?
No. I've never even owned a dog before, so.
You're on a meta human now. Appreciate you, Lorenzo. That's crazy.
I respect that. He answered the question and he dipped out.
Yeah.
But okay, so the question for me though is, when did you decide, like, okay, I'm gonna sort of create like a social media brand and start trying to like monetize this thing that, you know, clearly was just something that you were just doing. It's not like, you know, I know so many girls in the porn world who they got all kinds of fetishes in porn. Like, you know, every girl in porn is a lesbian. Yeah. Probably none of them, or, you know, a relatively small percentage are really into it, but it's just kind of like part of the job. Like, you know, when did you decide, like, oh, I'm going to actually start putting this shit on display for the world to see?
So I did OnlyFans for a couple years as a hobby, like while I was working.
And it was just sex stuff?
Yeah, like very vanilla, very plain. And
because you thought that was what people wanted to see?
Exactly. And I was like pretty close friends with like a porn producer in like one of the Carolinas. And I kind of asked his advice about it. And I thought about going into traditional porn because I kind of wanted to see more like different fetish stuff, you know. I kind of wanted to make the content that I wanted to see. And he was like, no, you need to stick with vanilla stuff for like as long as you can, and then you can branch out, which never really made sense to me. Because if I'm doing just like very plain Jane vanilla stuff, one, it's super oversaturated, you know. Yeah. But also, if I do happen to grow an audience from that,
they're
and then
I try to,
then that's what they're into, and they're not gonna want to see, you know, me tainted or whatever they would think, you know. Like, I didn't understand that, like, whatever. But I met Lorenzo, and he actually really gave me the confidence to be able to kind of like really put myself out there and kind of monetize it. Because I was doing it for fun, and I was doing it in my free time, and I was already doing OnlyFans, but I was just kind of keeping it separate. And he was like, let's do this. Like, this is such a good opportunity for you to do something that you love, and hey, maybe something will come of it, and, you know, and I'm just having fun, so what's the harm in it, you know?
And I mean, that whole logic of like, oh, you should just do the vanilla shit is because, like, okay, that's the most mass market thing. The cool thing about OnlyFans is you could like grow a personal brand and create a little cult of people who want to see a very specific thing. That was the problem in the porn world for a long time. I had people tell me like for instance, like, there's very little like black porn, like black dude, black girl. And I'm like, why is that? And they're like, it's just not the most popular genre. Like, people search for other things. So as a result, that specific scenario is super underrepresented, and I don't know how much that's necessarily really changed with OnlyFans, but I would assume that problem is getting better because it's like people are just able to make stuff that appeals directly to what they want to put out there.
I think that that's a really good point, and I definitely have thought about that before. But also, I don't think that these companies or they understand that if you appeal to a super niche amount of people, even though it's super niche, there's millions of people who are willing to pay because they can't find it anywhere. So if you are able to tap into that sort of market and be able to do it well, you have millions and millions of dollars at your fingertips.
I agree.
So I never understood that. And so whenever I was very comfortable in being able to do this. And plus, a huge part of it is that I never see female pups. And there's no gear for us. It's just now starting to kind of be there. It's all for men because it's dominated by, you know, men, whatever. And I guess that's kind of the same thing, that's the market, that's who's buying it. And there's, you know, it's always the same gear that I see. It's always neoprene hoods and, you know, like super kind of like masculine stuff. And, you know, like, I necessarily don't want that. So, you know, I want to put out there in the world that, hey, there is a market for it. And I've met wonderful lady pups, you know, like, I've met great girls, and, you know, that are like, yes, like, I love what you're doing. Like, we're not seen. And, you know, so yeah, that's another reason.
Interesting. So would you say that, do you feel like you've been very successful on OnlyFans? Like you are making a very significant living off of it?
Definitely anything that I've experienced before. My page is only, you know, I only started doing it full time like last June.
Okay.
So June of 2020. And before the year was over, like before the year of my like anniversary, I made over $1 million.
In a year.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So I would like to say that it was it was pretty
God
successful.
damn, I'm about to
yeah.
start barking the fuck on my sick. That is crazy.
Wow, I would just have not thought that like that fetish would be the like 6 figures a month area, because that's
Yeah.
like realistically, I know a shitload of OnlyFans girls, and you know that's kind of like the upper tier. That's like the wall is like making $1 million a year. So, and I was thinking like that it would not be that big, but that's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, like I was saying, like if you have a specialty and you do it super well, there are tons and tons and tons of people, and I get like messages and stuff every day where it's like, I didn't even know that this was my thing, but like this is my thing now. Thank you.
Wow.
You know, and so that's really fun to do. And
How do you go about promoting it? Since obviously I'm assuming like social media platforms are not necessarily eager to
Oh, yeah.
platform this kind of stuff.
it's extremely hard. I don't do any sort of like on so I've had like a couple different TikToks that have gone to like 300,000 and then shut down. I had a the
So
first
many porn girls have this issue on TikTok now.
and
Everywhere. Not
and
even just TikTok, Instagram.
Instagram. I've had tons of pages go down. I finally got one of my pages back after 8 months of fighting it. It wasn't my biggest account. Like it was only like a couple months old. But I was able to grow it from 0 to 100K in less than 30 days. So like, it was a great account for me, you know, super engaging. And then it was just like ripped away. And I don't do anything that's like super sexual on there, because that's not what I don't want to necessarily promote that, because the more skin that you show, you know, like there's a less and less of a reason to go and, you know, like go and, you know, I want to put the dog stuff forward, and those people who are interested, they will find my stuff. So it's been extremely hard, and it's, you know, all the times that I've been banned or that I've been restricted or all of that, it's super discouraging, like super discouraging. And it makes me like not want to make content anymore. But, you know, that drive to do that is a little too strong. So I, you know, just pick yourself back up and kind of do that.
And you still have your OnlyFans community, but then at the same time, it's like you just, you know, it sucks because somebody might unsubscribe for a couple months and then want to re-find you, and then the fucking Instagram account's gone. It sucks.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's definitely a struggle. But the way that we market it is we do it kind of by trolling people. So we make these like outlandish videos, and they're so much fun to do, you know, and we kind of get people kind of riled up, and then there's a percentage of those people who, you know, come and find my page and see my OnlyFans, and they're like, oh shit.
So you try to like stoke some controversy, get some people sort of pissed off, and then people appreciate it as well.
So whenever I first started doing it, that wasn't my intention, but kind of the byproduct of that is like, people were outraged. Like, why are you people like daily get messages like, you fucking retard, like what are you doing, and all that stuff. And I find it so funny, because it's like, okay bro, like it's not that serious. I'm just trolling you.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just like having a good time. Like I'm not hurting anybody. I'm not doing anything bad. I cannot believe that you're so upset over this. And so that, I just find it so funny. So I just kept doing it, and people love it and hate it. So
Wow.
yeah.
What a world we live in.
I did so we hired a fake cop that's been in a couple of his videos and stuff. And
He acts like a dog too.
No, he's a cop.
like he's he's a
What
cop.
an assumption. We hired a fake cop and had the cop act like a dog.
Well, he's a content creator as well. He does
Okay.
like YouTube and stuff like that.
Oh, okay,
so,
fine.
Yeah, so he does like, we had like a fake SWAT thing in the house when like a whole bunch of people were over, and you know, so we know this guy, so we were like, hey, can we borrow you and like do a canine video? Like me in the back of the police car, you know, jumping out and like grabbing a hold of like the big sack, you know, that
Yeah,
protects the arm
for training and shit.
Yeah, and so we did a photo shoot, like a video with that, and I posted that on Twitter. That was a mistake.
Why?
People were so mad. They was like thinking
Like
that I was
police
like,
officers?
yes. They was like, you're making a political statement, and I'm like, I'm literally acting like a dog. I don't understand.
Like it has to be some defund the police ass shit.
They were like, oh,
But how
like
much
all cops are bastards. Like all canines should be euthanized. Like you should kill them all. I was like, whoa.
Wait, there's anti-dog people out there?
I guess like cop dogs. Like okay, bro, like chill out. I don't
Has
know.
PETA been after you?
No,
Or is
but
it-
that's a goal. I would love that.
Okay, yeah.
But there's no animals involved, right?
Yeah, there's no animals involved.
Yeah, but I was like,
that would be pretty good.
Do you think
though.
people assume that you're also into bestiality?
Yes, a lot of people do.
that's exactly what I was gonna. Wow.
I just received something on. This is like the biggest question that I get is that, oh, like, do you do stuff with dog? For the record, no.
Because that's actually how I met Duno. Is he was eating a dog's ass.
That's not how he met me.
No? Okay.
We are friends. Yes.
You and
You and the
dog?
dog?
Yeah.
I'm for sure. First of all, I think I've had like 2 dogs in my life, and they lasted like a month because we lived in an apartment, and they were like, "Yeah, you gotta get rid of it."
You were probably dog fighting him.
no.
No, I wasn't dog fighting my dog, fool.
Oh.
Wait, so I just got this message on Instagram. Hey, my dog really likes to fuck babes like you. Do you have a meeting? Like, do you want to have a meeting with us in a forest and like fuck your pussy? Yeah. So like, I get messages like that.
Oh my God.
And I am like, I hate zoos. I hate it. It's so disgusting because like, people think that I'm like promoting that, but I'm like, okay, I'm a human. And it's very clear that I'm a human.
When you
and
said
like,
I hate zoos, you mean zoophiles?
like zoophile,
people, okay,
yeah,
people
like
who want to fuck dogs.
Yeah, it's
okay.
absolutely disgusting. I mean,
Oh,
like,
I thought she meant like
Me
she
too.
like,
At first, and I'm like, wait a
damn,
minute.
you don't like going to go see the monkeys and the elephants and shit? I'm like, God damn.
no, I hate zoophiles. They're like, I don't know. I think that you have to be some sort of like also pedophile to be able to be into that because like real animals have the intellect of like maybe like a 3-year-old, maybe.
Right, yeah.
You know, so it's like, like that's kind of sus, dude. Like I don't know. I hate it. It's disgusting.
God.
So people like. Even like my OnlyFans messages and stuff, they're like, hey, like, have you ever been knotted? And I'm like, that's gross.
What is that?
It's like being fucked by a dog.
Oh, God.
Yeah. 'cause
There's a word for it?
yeah.
There's all kind of, I'm learning
There's-
so many words in
There's,
this.
there's actually like it's a big problem and it's
Really?
disgusting.
Yeah, well, you go to jail for that. You don't go to jail for acting like a dog, but you go to jail for bestiality for sure.
Do you? Do people like actively go to jail? I know it's illegal technically, but does anyone really get caught?
No, like it. No, I mean, like I think technically you could, but it is so
No.
hard.
Yeah,
Right,
no.
'cause
You for sure could
It
go to
is
jail.
so hard.
Yeah.
I think it's like if you have video of you doing it, and
Hmm.
even then, there's this girl. So there was like a whole like furry controversy a couple years ago, where like it was like a zoo sadist group that I followed, and it like I followed the controversy or whatever, and there was people's faces, people's videos, chat logs, and there was this one girl on this like bestiality forum that had videos of her assaulting her dog. Said that she did it. It's illegal in the place that she did it, and nothing ever happened. I think 1 or 2 of the people got arrested, but that was on like pedophile stuff. Like he was like hurting his nephew or something.
like unrelated
Yeah,
to the-
so it was unrelated. So it
Wow.
is so hard, and I think it's so disgusting because, like I was saying earlier, like these animals are like they can't take care of they can't speak, they can't take care of themselves, they can't advocate for themselves. So like the most horrendous shit could happen to them,
Oh my
and no one
God.
will ever know.
Nobody.
It's so sad.
Help the animals.
Realistically,
Yeah.
the cops like I've listened to some podcasts and stuff about how big the child porn problem is. It is so big, and the cops are basically like powerless to really do much about it because it is so big. Think about how much worse it is with animals, because obviously if you're gonna like rank things to deal with, you're gonna deal with humans before animals, and then with the animals, it's like you're never gonna have a victim that could tell you what happened. If you're not a
Yeah.
complete fucking idiot, you're
Yeah,
gonna
it's not like-
probably
yeah. I
it'd be
get
pretty
what-
goddamn easy to hide this from the world. You know, think about how
I just like the story that brings me the most like solace is like the Mr. Hands thing. Mr. Hands was this guy that made like zoo porn, and
right. They did a documentary about him, right?
Yeah.
Kevin,
Like-
there's a name for it. Like that's
There's names
crazy.
for everything,
Yeah.
you know.
No, I know.
And on this
yeah,
podcast, you're
that
gonna
is-
learn them all.
but yeah, there's like a huge, like, it's an issue, and like I didn't really know about that until I like started following that like Zoo Sadist group. I was like, oh, like this is actually like a thing. Like you like like I've never heard of it before or whatever, but I guess they keep it under lock and key.
Right.
I don't know. It's disgusting. I hate it. So no, please just stop asking me to fuck dogs.
Well, I'm glad we cleared that
I
up because that question was sort of stirring around in my brain the whole
She's
the
not
podcast.
fucking dogs.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, good. I'm just glad
Fucking
you're
Lorenzo.
on the right side of history. There's a lot of people who argue though that like the dog, like it's not non-consensual with the dog.
Fool,
that the
no.
dog like wants to do this, right?
I don't know.
I've
I
like
don't
read
think
people
so.
basically like making that argument only in the context of like people like roasting them for making that argument. But I have
Yeah,
read
but
that.
I mean, again, like maybe they, their animal instincts, like their animal instincts, like kick in or whatever. But bro, they're still children.
Yeah.
They still have like the mind of a 2-year-old. And
My
like,
cat is not ready to fuck, and he's 17.
Cat's 17.
Yeah, and he's not.
Cats are whores. Hood cats are whores.
Not. Yeah, he probably was pretty bad before I got my hands on him.